Hi, my name is Ksenia. I'm a Chief Product Officer at EID Easy, and today I would like to talk to you about the difference between signatures and authentications. Some of our customers actually ask us if there is a difference and what they shall use in each particular situation. So I thought it might be a good idea to actually record a video and share this information with you guys. So I think let's get started. So today we will briefly talk about types of signatures just as a reminder. If you would like to have a more in-depth information, of course you can read the legislation yourself or revisit our previous video, which was specifically on signatures. Also, we will talk about types of authentications and when they can be used. So, electronic signatures, right? We remember that we have three major classes: simple, advanced, and qualified. Here on the screen you can actually see the examples of each type. So simple is used for non-legally binding contracts. For example, maybe it's signing a lease on a property in the USA, or it is something that is internal to the company and that cannot be brought to court. Permission slips might be another thing. Advanced is used if you need to provide a higher level of assurance and legal validity. So we can see that it can be used for commercial contracts, partnership agreements, vendor agreements, and so on and so forth. And then we have the qualified signature, or the mother of all signatures, right? So these types of signatures are used to signing legally binding documents with the highest level of legal validity. Court filings, official government forms, documents or agreements or contracts when you should be and need to be sure that if something happens, they can be brought to court. So these are the three types, and the name speaks for itself. A signature is when you actually sign a document. So you put some kind of a signature, for lack of a better word, right, on a digital document. And now let's move on to authentications. So basically, an authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user or an entity, right, before granting them access to a system, application, or service. I think this is very self-explanatory. So if you have a website or an application that is full of sensitive data, for example, you might be a portal with lots and lots of customer information, and you need to be sure that if an employee is trying to sign in, you know exactly their identity, you know that they are who they say they are. Or maybe your website grants different kinds of remote jobs or like part-time jobs, and then people get paid using your platform. So you need to be sure that the person who is signing in is actually the person who is going to withdraw the money, and also the person who is paying the money, also who they say they are, just to be sure that, you know, in a month or 2 months you will not have court claims. That's when the authentication needs to take place. And of course, as with signatures, there are many different ways to authenticate a user. Password-based authentication, one-time password, public key infrastructure, better known as the PKI, smart card authentication, biometric authentication, and mobile-based authentication. And today we'll briefly touch upon each kind of authentication method, just for you to be aware of them and be able to answer your customers' questions, or your questions if you are the person who is trying to figure out which level of protection you need to use. So password-based, very simple, very easy, something that, for example, you can find in Google. The most common method where users provide a password or a passphrase that matches a pre-registered value. And I think we're all aware that you can log into your Netflix account or Facebook account using this. One-time passwords, also a very, very popular thing when a unique password is generated for each authentication session and is valid only for a limited time. How you can receive one? Well, via an SMS, email, or generated by dedicated hardware tokens or mobile apps. Again, I'm sure you've all heard of things like Google Authenticator, for example, or Okta, where you get a digital password on your phone and then you can log into a system. This makes it a little more secure as it's harder to actually steal this, but I would say it still has questions. Let's move on. So public key infrastructure. As I said, it's commonly known as the PKI, and it is used by many larger corporations. So this kind of authentication involves the use of a digital certificate or asymmetric cryptography. So this makes it a lot harder to actually break into, and it relies on a pair of cryptographic keys, a private key kept by the user, and a public key stored in a certificate. The public key is used to verify the user's identity. So, like I said, among the three that we have discussed, this one is considered to be the most secure one. And if you work at a corporation, or if you have a customer and they are a corporation, then I suggest this is the one that you would actually research and recommend. But there may be other variants. Let's find out what they are. Smart cards. So smart cards are physical cards that contain an embedded microchip capable of securely storing and processing data. And although this is considered to be a very secure option, as you can tell, it's not very user-friendly. So the user has to have a smart card on them at every single time when they need to actually log into the system. So although many security companies recommend using this one, if we think about the users and if we think about the end goal that the user has to do on your website or on their website or in the application, then this might create some additional friction that the user will not complete the necessary steps. So this is a good thing to keep in mind, the balance of security and user-friendliness. Another one is biometric authentications. So this method uses unique physical or behavioral characteristics of individuals, fingerprints, facial recognitions, voice recognitions, etc., etc. And if you have almost any phone that is like 2 to 3 years old, you will know that you can log into that using your fingerprint, or if you have some of the newer laptops, then you can access the laptop using the biometric authentication. And this is exactly the same thing with the applications or some websites. So you just do your fingerprint or your face scan and you're good to go. This is considered to be both secure and user-friendly because hopefully you always have your face with you. And the last one is mobile-based authentication. So the mobile devices can serve as authentication tools through various methods, right? So this includes using mobile apps that generate OTPs, leveraging built-in biometric sensors like fingerprint scanners or facial recognition, and so on and so forth. I wouldn't say that this is, again, the most user-friendly, but it can be secure as it leverages a few layers of protection in one. But that's not the end. So we also have authentications under eIDS, and if you have watched our previous video, then you will know that as not signatures all are born equal, it's the same thing with the authentications. So authentications based on ID cards are considered to be the most legally valid, secure of all of them. And they have their qualifications, again, right, according to EIDAS. So pre-notified, peer-reviewed, and notified. And using an authentication that is legally valid under EIDAS means that you guarantee that your website or your application gets the highest level of security possible. And this is very, very important, especially if you deal with sensitive data like medical records, financial records, personal user information, as you need to be really sure and mindful about protecting that data, that it does not leak, that you do not get sued, or your customers do not get sued for not storing that information and protecting that information properly. And this is what I had to say to you today. I hope that it actually made it clearer for you which authentication levels exist, how you can use them, what you can use in your particular case. And if you still have questions, and I hope that you do, please contact us at info@eideasy.com or visit our website eideasy.com for more information. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.